Who is Taylor Swift? Enter Taylor Swift's captivating universe, where each song serves as a gateway to a new chapter in her incredible journey. But who is the woman who is writing the songs? What inspires her to create? And what messages are conveyed through her songs' lyrics? Come along on an engrossing investigation as we solve the mystery surrounding Taylor Swift. What turns and turns from the rural roads of her childhood to the glistening lights of international fame have molded her into the iconic figure we know today. Are you prepared to delve deeply inside one of the most compelling artists of our time's heart and soul? Taylor Swift, a multi-talented singer-songwriter and international celebrity, was born in West Reading, Pennsylvania on December 13, 1989. Her poignant lyrics and captivating melodies have captured audiences' attention, making her one of the most important musicians of today. She created history in 2024 when she became the first artist to win the Grammy Award for Album of the Year for Midnight's 4 times. Childhood. Swift had a passion for music at a young age, and she moved fast from playing parts in children's theater to making her stage debut in front of thousands of people. Before a Philadelphia 76ers basketball game, at the age of 11, she sung the Star-Spangled Banner. The following year, she picked up the guitar and started writing songs. Swift created original music that represented her experiences between alienation, drawing influence from country music performers like Shania Twain and the Dixie Chicks. Swift's parents moved to Hendersonville, Tennessee when she was 13 years old, giving her more time to pursue country labels in Nashville, which is nearby. Swift met recording industry veterans through a development arrangement with RCA Records, and in 2004, at the age of 14, she signed a songwriter's contract with Sony ATV. She sang many of the songs she had written at local Nashville clubs, and it was during one of these performances that record executive Scott Borchetta caught wind of her. Swift's first single, Tim McGraw, which was heavily inspired by and referenced in a song by her favorite country music performer, was released in the summer of 2006 after Borchetta signed her to his Young Big Machine label. Fearless and debut album. After 8 months on the Billboard Country Singles chart, the song was an instant hit. Swift, who is now 16 years old, then released her self-titled debut album and went on tour as Rascal Flatts' opening act. After selling over 1 million copies of her music in the US, Taylor Swift was certified platinum in 2007. She went on to tour nonstop, opening for acts like Faith Hill, Tim McGraw, George Strait, and Kenny Chesney. Swift's year as the most visible young star in country music culminated in November of that year, when she won the Country Music Association's Horizon Award for Best New Artist. Swift displayed a sophisticated pop sense with her second album, Fearless, successfully courting the mainstream pop audience while maintaining a nod to her country heritage. In its first week of release, Fearless sold over 500,000 copies, placing it at the top of the Billboard 200 chart. In the end, it topped that chart for a longer period of time than any other album published that decade. In the digital market, hits like You Belong With Me and Love Story were also well-liked. The latter had over 4 million paid downloads. Read in 1989, the Kanye West incident at the VMAs. Swift played to packed houses across North America during her debut headline tour in 2009. Swift also dominated the industry award circuit that year. Fearless won the Best Female Video Award at the MTV Video Music Awards in September, and it was named the Best Album of the Year by the Academy of Country Music in April. Rapper Kanye West interrupted Swift during her VMA acceptance speech, arguing that Beyoncé should have received the prize for having one of the best videos of all time. Beyoncé brought Swift on stage to close her address later in the event, while she was winning the Video of the Year award. This move earned both singers a standing ovation. Swift won all 4 of the categories for which she was nominated at the CMA Awards that November. She became the youngest ever CMA Performer of the Year winner and the first female solo artist to do it since 1999 when she was named the winner. She had a strong start to 2010 at the Grammy Awards, taking home 4 awards, including Best Country Song, Best Country Album, and Album of the Year. Swift became the new face of CoverGirl Cosmetics later that year after starring in the romantic comedy Valentine's Day in her first feature film. Swift was shockingly candid in her music despite her interviews where she refrained from talking about her personal life. Allusions to romantic relationships involving John Mayer, Joe Jonas of the Jonas Brothers, and Twilight series star Taylor Lautner could be found throughout her third album, Speak Now. 2011 saw Swift retain her CMA Entertainer of the Year title. The following year, Mean, a single from Speak Now, earned her Grammys for Best Country Song and Best Country Solo Performance. Prior to the release of her next album, Red, Swift resumed her acting career by lending her voice to the animated Dr. Seuss character, the Lorax. Although she continued to concentrate on the whims of adolescence, her songs demonstrated a more mature viewpoint on the topic, and a significant portion of the record featured an audacious pop rock style. Red sold 1.2 million copies in its first week of sales in the US, which is a record for a single week in the past 10 years. Additionally, Swift scored her first #1 hit on the Billboard Pop Singles chart with the upbeat lead track, "We're Never Ever Getting Back Together" from the album. Swift named her album 1989 after the year she was born, and the album was apparently influenced by the music of that time. It was released in 2014. Swift referred to 1989 as her first official pop album, despite the fact that she had already been gradually eschewing the traditional country signifiers that characterize her early work. "I Knew You Were Trouble," Red's second single, even dabbled with electronic dance music. The album turned out to be another smash hit for Swift, with first-week sales surpassing Red's due to the positive vibes of "Shake It Off." Swift won her second Grammy for Album of the Year after it went on to sell more than 5 million copies in the US. Swift also had a supporting part in the 2014 movie The Giver, which was based on the young reader's dystopian novel by Lois Lowry. Reputation, Lover, Folklore, Evermore, and Controversies. Following the release of this track, Famous, Kanye West and Swift rekindled their fight in 2016. Swift said that the song's derogatory reference to her as a bitch was one of its lyrics. After Kim Kardashian, West's wife, made public a recording of a phone conversation in which Swift approved the line, though West made no mention of calling her a bitch, the public dispute intensified. Swift's legal issues persisted when she participated in a well-publicized civil trial in August 2017. Former radio host David Mueller had sued Swift, her mother, and a promoter, alleging that Swift had falsely accused him of making inappropriate sexual advances toward her in 2013 while posing for a picture, ruining his career. She filed a countersuit, arguing that the attack had actually happened. Swift was dropped from Mueller's lawsuit during the trial, and the jury decided in favor of Swift's countersuit, absolving the other two defendants of any liability. Swift's popular single "Look What You Made Me Do" was published shortly after, and her album Reputation went on to become the best-selling American LP of 2017. Swift signed with Republic Records and Universal Music Group in 2018 after leaving Big Machine. The following year, Kanye West's talent manager Scooter Braun purchased her former label, which included the master recordings of her 6 albums. Swift openly denounced the agreement, alleging that Braun had harassed her for years and that Warketa had turned down her requests to obtain the master tapes. She then made an attempt to work out a deal with Braun, but in 2020 he sold her back catalog to a private investment company. In light of this, Swift started to re-record her early songs in an attempt to regain control over them. She did this in the hopes that her new versions of the songs would be sought out for licensing deals rather than the originals, and as a result, Fearless and Red were released in 2021, reimagined versions of past albums featuring multiple never-before-heard tracks. Swift released 1989 in October of the same year after releasing Speak Now in July. Swift's 7th album, Lover, was released in 2019. She called it a love letter to love itself. She also starred in the musical Cats that year, which was a cinematic version of the enormously popular theatrical original directed by Andrew Lloyd Webber. A documentary on her life and career is called Miss Americana. In 2020, she published Folklore with minimal publicity. Swift's 8th studio album, which won the Grammy for Album of the Year, was praised for its thoughtfulness and restraint and marked a break from her earlier pop-inspired work. Later in 2020, the sister record Evermore was released. Midnights, the historical tour, and the Department of Tortured Poets. For the honest midnights, which she referred to as the story of 13 sleepless nights scattered throughout my life, Swift embraced a Sid pop style. The record won Album of the Year and Best Pop Vocal Album after receiving 6 Grammy nominations. Swift's first concert tour since 2018 will begin in March 2023, making it her 6th tour altogether. Many fans were dissatisfied with the Eras Tour ticket sales when they launched on Ticketmaster in November 2022 due to technical difficulties and wait times that may extend for many days. Due to extraordinary demand, general sales were canceled after 2 rounds of pre-sales. Swift replied that she was disappointed with the circumstances, but she made no mention of Ticketmaster. Swift received the title of Person of the Year from Time magazine in December 2023. Sam Altman, Barbie, and Vladimir Putin were also finalists. Not long after Spotify, a music streaming service, named her its most played musician, she received this award. With a net worth of about $1.1 billion, Swift is now a billionaire, according to a Bloomberg estimate. Swift came in 5th on Forbes' list of the 2023's most powerful women. Since October 2023, she's been dating Travis Kelce, an American football player. During the Grammy Awards telecast in February 2024, Swift made an announcement announcing the release of her upcoming studio album, The Tortured Poets Department, in April. The record came out as a double LP with the second disc, titled The Tortured Poets Apartment. The anthology, consisting of 15 tracks, Post Malone and Florence Welch are featured as guests on the songs Fortnite and Florida, known as a beat of Taylor Swift's captivating story. Subscribe now to join us on this journey through the highs and lows, the triumphs and tribulations of one of music's most compelling figures.